Good to be with you on this, the 26th Sunday in Ordinary Time. We're experiencing here in the greater Cleveland area a very wonderful change from summer to fall. This coming weekend will be a cooling down and a reminder to us that the autumnal equinox has taken place on Thursday evening at 9 o'clock. And the calendar doesn't change as far as the date or the week, but we know that the celestial calendar and terrestrial calendar has changed for us in this beautiful season. While we are enjoying that comfort, and especially we who live here in northern Ohio, I think in a particular way can become very complacent. Why do I say that? We look at our televisions, we see floods here, storms here, winds here, fires here, all around different parts of the world, and we look at ourselves and say, well, we live in a nice little area by a beautiful lake, we have plenty of water, the rain falls, but all it does is it irrigates our plants and gets us ready for the planting season. We don't have these fears and worries and concerns like they have in Puerto Rico or Pakistan, or we don't have the worries of the people in Ukraine because we have no fighting on our borders with us. All of these things can make us complacent. And not that the things that I just mentioned are not good, not that we are not thankful to God for what we have and where we are, but I really think the word complacency, we have to reflect on that, because the scriptures that are given to us for this coming Sunday in the lectionary are words that try to shake up people, to remind them that sometimes complacency can become an idol. We fall in love with it. You know, it's really interesting. A complacent person doesn't have to be rich. Sometimes people think only rich people can be complacent, because in the gospel, it's a rich man who is very complacent about his luxuries and lives, and he doesn't care about the poor man outside the door. We know the story of Lazarus and the rich man. Or the prophet Amos speaks of the complacency of the people of Zion. It says, lying on beds of ivory. Well, that's a very expensive kind of material. It still is expensive to be even found in anything. They eat lambs taken from the flocks. That's like veal meat. And calves from the stall. Lamb chops and veals, which are maybe a special occasion at most. Can we even afford that, to have that once in a great while? They drink wine from bowls. They live a life very luxuriously. But you know, complacency can also take place just by simply the simplest things. We could sort of say, I'm very comfortable here. My house isn't great. My apartment isn't great, but the heat works. There's water. I have safety. I have security. You know, all those things can sort of make us feel like, oh, I really don't need to worry about others. And then of course, I think it is a challenge. It is a challenge to us to figure out how we can show our concern and our care when we have limited resources, when we're only one person. We can't solve all the problems. We can't take all the refugees of the world. Someone was talking to me about setting up a program through Catholic Charities that would handle the Ukrainian refugees. Now, I would say most people say, oh, it's a great idea. Those Ukrainians are really suffering what's going on in their home country, Russia, and the children and families are fleeing, and we have to help them out. There's probably no discussion about that question when it comes to those refugees. But it takes a lot of effort and energy, and it reminds us that anytime you're dealing with these questions, especially of refugees, it's not a simple, you might say, simple question. of allowing them in or not allowing them in. The question is, how do you deal with them when they're here? You know, it's not just the problem of the people in Texas and along the other parts of the border with the southern part of our South America. You know, we have to all be engaged in different ways and willing to help out. And so as this person was talking about this possibility of a project with these Ukrainians, setting up committees, and somebody from a parish would take care of handling the expenses, try to find a job for the mother, all those kinds of questions. I was amazed at the amount the federal government is willing to do for these refugees, not all refugees, but for these Ukrainian refugees. There's a lot of help in terms of Medicare, other things that would not be for the refugees that are coming from other parts of the world. So let us be thankful for what we have. Let us not get so complacent that we're not willing to help, and realize that our lives are not just our own. We have to share and try to share our resources and our concern with all those in need. Have a great day now. Bye-bye.